Good morning, everybody. This is Jen Carty. I work in Pamplin Career Services, and welcome to our special edition of Pamplin Career Services podcast series. Today, we're going to have joining us special guest Stephanie Chalk representing NetApp. She is going to share with you information about NetApp and opportunities they have available, also where you can connect with them on campus this semester. But in addition, she's going to share with you some key tips to getting prepared for career fairs in general, but especially Business Horizons, which is coming up next week on Wednesday, January 27th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. in Squires Commonwealth Ballroom. And so just so you all know, we are going to be recording this series. If you have questions at any point during the presentation, please use the chat function and send those questions over to me. I will happily moderate those to Stephanie toward the end of her presentation, and we can get those questions answered for you. If you have not already muted your lines, please do that so we don't have any interruptions during the presentation. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to you, Stephanie.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'm going to make sure that you guys can see my screen, and then we will get started. All right, so it looks like everyone should be able to see my screen. And again, thank you guys very, very much for attending. I know that this is a busy time for everybody, and I wanted to just take a few minutes, explain a little bit about NetApp, explain about our really exciting and refreshing culture that we have, along with the opportunities that we also have available for university students, and then taking it in and really starting to get you ready for some of the items that you may be facing when you go to the career fair that is upcoming. Coming from a recruiter and someone that you will meet on campus regularly, I see a lot of great things, and I see some that you just want to provide helpful advice for students. So I'm excited to have this opportunity. So with that being said, a little bit about NetApp. So NetApp, we are a data management and data storage provider. And what the really brief synopsis of us is, we are looking to manage and store very large amounts of data. And based on that, we've got all different types of companies that invest in us. We've got those that are very large, say the NFL, to someone that may be a little bit smaller. Maybe it's a locally owned company, but they have a lot of data needs, or they want to go ahead and invest in overall their data plan because they know that their data is going to continue to grow over the years, so they already want to have an established infrastructure. So really what is unique to us, though, is we are a global company. We've got about 13,000 employees all around the world. So we are communicating to all different types of employees. And then in addition to that, we've got customers that are all over the place. And that's a really exciting opportunity for students, especially those that have an international interest or background. And sorry, I think we may want to just put everyone's phone just on mute very quickly. Perfect. I don't hear any of the backdrop that was happening. So, it's a really dynamic for us and exciting because we are a global company and we have so many employees that are here to help and assist, and that number will continue to grow. We are also always been ranked as being one of the top companies to work for around the world. So in the United States, you could go to our offices in India, you could go to our offices in Europe, and we are a great place to work, and we've been voted in a variety of different ways as being one of those great places to work, which we'll dive into in just a second. And in addition to that, what has made us who we are is our operating system. It is the, what I like to say, the meat and potatoes of what makes NetApp NetApp, and it's called Data on Tap. And we're actually going to go and dive right into a little bit more about our product portfolio. So we're not going to dive in very deeply, but for those of you that may have an interest in joining the tech space, you may be in the business side, but you want to join a technology company, or you may want to join technology sales, or you may be someone that really enjoys programming. All of that will allow you to be able to really invest in a product portfolio and to look at something as dynamic as ours. As you guys probably know, technology is ever changing, and with that, it provides a lot of great opportunity for us. And so this slide will always change. Just 6 months ago, this looks very, very different. And I bet I could say in another 3 to 4 months, this is still going to look different, because we're always making sure that we're very innovative and we are creating the products and the solutions that our customers need in order to run their business efficiently, effectively, and securely. So up at the top, you're going to see Data ONTAP, which is, again, what I was saying is that everything is built off of that. And then from there, if you were to go around the cloud, we all know a little bit about the cloud, and that's something that's changing our environment rapidly. So people and our customers want to store certain amounts of data on the cloud, but they also know that some of their information shouldn't go up there. So how do they manage that? They know that they have a lot of data, so how quickly can we access that data, which takes us to the E and the EF series, which is more flash-based. So a lot of really great and interesting products here. And also, if you want to go and just dive in a little bit deeper into what we are calling our data fabric story, which starts with Data ONTAP, but then also grows to cover the cloud infrastructure, you can go online and visit our website to dive in a little bit more. And then also knowing, again, if you have an interest in technology, there's a lot of companies out there that are diving into specific areas that we have in our portfolio. So this is a really great foundation for you to get started. And something that I always like to talk to students about, because it's the #1 question and answer that I receive, is one, the question is, how am I going to make an impact? Or if I ask, what are you looking for in a job? The response is, I want to make a difference. And naturally you probably don't think, oh, NetApp, I'm going to be able to make a difference. Versus if you were to maybe go and work at, let's say, a nonprofit, or you're going to go back into education, or you're going to go into the medical field. Those right off the bat, you're going to be making a difference. You're going to be helping people, or you're going to be helping solve problems, etc. At NetApp, you're going to be making a very large difference, and this is why. If you can see what our company does and how we lead different organizations all around the world, but also all around all different industries. So if you can think about, if you have a Gmail email address, you are using NetApp products. If you have gone to a hospital to visit somebody, or you have been to the hospital before, or you've gone in and just had a regular checkup, we are making and allowing you to, one, have your data very secure. We're also developing and being part of developing medications that are solving world illnesses. So there's just so much that you can have an impact on and make a difference because of the impact that we're going to have on a variety of different organizations around the world. And, I could talk to this for the entire 30 minutes because I'm so passionate about the work environment that we have created and sustained. As we started, almost 20 years ago, we were a very small company, 100 employees based out of the Silicon Valley. Didn't know really if our products were going to take off or not because there was just so much going on in the technology space. And lo and behold, we have become the #1 data storage provider in the industry now, 20 years later. But why I mention that is because our culture has not changed. It is still that very fun, family-oriented. You feel like you walk into those buildings at NetApp and you've got a family there to support you, to mentor you, to answer questions, to make sure that you're successful, but overall that NetApp's successful. And most importantly, it's very flexible. If you're getting your work done, you're meeting and exceeding your goals, it's really up to you then to also determine if you need to go and do something personally or professionally. It's not something where you have to clock in and clock out. You have the flexibility to get your work done and then do whatever you need to do outside of that. Again, the level of expertise that we are looking for because of the innovation that we are continually invested in, we want those that are very passionate about technology and want to join us. In addition, we want those that are team players, that want to build a team, that want to help each other, that want to make sure that that team, that goal that they have in front of them, it's going to be successful. And then that third bucket, again, success. And it's defined on the people that we hire. It's defined on the products that we create. But again, it all goes back to the people, and that's really what makes us so successful. And it's also based on our values that lead us and guide us every single day. A lot of these values, I'm sure, are already incorporated into your day-to-day life, and it's something that we hold at a very high standard, is to make sure that we are living these values. We talk about them daily And really, again, it's those guiding principles that are going to allow us to be successful. And then what I just want to highlight here on the bottom right is that, like I had mentioned, it's a great place to work, and it's not just in the United States, or it's not just in our Research Triangle Park location in Raleigh. It is all around the world. And that's very, very a big focus of ours, because it's very important to us, because there are so many different types of cultures and backgrounds, and we want everyone to experience that NetApp culture, or what we like to say, the NetApp feel, which is that very family-oriented and we've got your back mentality. It's a one-team effort. So just a little bit about our programs. You can see here, and since this is being recorded and you can go and access it at any time, you will see a variety of different opportunities. So a lot of people come to me when I'm out on campus and say, well, I'm not an engineer, but I'm really interested in technology. Do you have opportunities? Absolutely we do. And that's where you'll find those under the corporate and more of the sales function. So anything that you can think of that you need to run a very large business, a Fortune 500 company like NetApp, we're hiring for them, and we're hiring university students into those. So anything from HR to marketing to sales to social media to our legal team, we are hiring for them. Our main office locations are listed on the right-hand side. The two largest locations, Sunnyvale, California, where we're headquartered out of, and Research Triangle Park is the second largest location in the United States. So a lot of opportunities in those two areas, but also at the other locations that I mentioned to the right side as well. Our intern program is a summer internship program. We hire about 200 to 250 students into this program each summer, and it's just a really dynamic environment. You're working on a real-world project. You're rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty, because we really want you to be able to apply what you're learning in the classroom to then what you're going to be able to learn and innovate and create in the real world. And so based on that, we want to give you a project that gives you that experience. And if you do relocate, we will pay for your full relocation. That's the #1 question I get. So you don't have to worry about, well, I really want to go to California, but I don't know if I can do that based on the relocation. We'll take care of it. We want you to have a stressless but a very fun and educational experience. So we take care of all of that for you. All right, so then our university programs as well. So once you get closer to graduation, or if you are going to be graduating in May, then we have a program for you. And that program is designed to make sure, one, that there are positions only available for those that are graduating in the current academic year or have graduated in the past 18 months. So the reason I mentioned the 18 months is because if you go take another job after graduation and you find that it's just maybe not the right fit, or you want to get closer to home if you've relocated, then you are still able to apply to what we call our university graduate hire positions. Those positions are only for you, and we don't want you to have to compete with somebody that may have 10 to 12 years of experience, or even 3 to 4 years. We want you to come in knowing that there are others that are also going to be joining our environment and also going to be joining our program, because then once you do accept a role, then from there, we also have a program to help you assimilate into our full-time program. And that's going to allow you a lot of networking opportunities, social activities, and then just an environment to lean on, where you have a community. If you have any questions or concerns, you have another environment of about 200 people, because we hire about 200 people each year into this program. Just to see that we have a lot of fun, on the left-hand side, our university graduates out and then doing a lot of fun activities together. In the middle, going to a career fair, going back, you go back to Virginia Tech, you'll see alumni joining us at the Pamplin Career Fair, all that have recently graduated. And then on the right-hand side, we like to give back. We are able to volunteer for 40 hours or 5 days each year for a charitable organization, and we like to do that together. But you can do it individually if there is an organization that's very close to your heart. We encourage you to go and give back to the community around you, so that's why we give you 40 hours of volunteer service, and that's in addition to your sick leave, your paid time off, your vacation, etc. And most importantly is we invest in you, and we want you to know that and hear that, and we want you to experience it once you get there. A lot of professional development that we are dedicated to making sure that not only your technical skills for whatever profession you're going into, but also those softer skills that you may want to improve upon, if it's presentation, communication, etc. In addition to that, we have a very structured mentoring program to allow you to be mentored by someone that's been in the industry and can help guide you through your career. A lot of classroom training, a lot of hands-on training, because we also know that you may not know everything you need to know come day one when you start with us. That's okay. We're here to help you get to where you need to go in your career. And then TOAST. This is something very special to NetApp. It's called Training on All Special Things. You go and you all fly out. Everybody gets the opportunity within their first year to fly out to Sunnyvale, California, and meet with our executive team. You spend a day and a half meeting with them. They get to talk about our goals, our values, what is our product portfolio, how are you going to have an impact, et cetera. So it's a really great way to just get to know and understand the company, but hearing it from our executive leadership team. All right, so now the more and fun and exciting, and again, I'd be happy to answer any questions at the end. This is something I'm so passionate about because I feel as though you guys always want to hear it from us, from the recruiters that are here every day. That is my job. I go out and I attend hundreds of career fairs each year, and it's so exciting and refreshing to talk to each and every one of you. And I really think it helps to know, what are we looking for, or what should I do to set myself apart, because there's thousands and thousands of people applying to these roles. How in the world am I going to make a statement and get hired? So I want to give you a few tidbits of information, and then again, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them at the end. So first and foremost is create your personal brand. And you may be thinking, what does that really mean, Stephanie? And what I want you to think about is to think about those brands that you are very relatable to. So maybe you are a Nike person versus an Adidas person. Maybe you are a Coca-Cola person versus a Pepsi person. That is a brand that you recognize, you know their unique qualities, and there's something about it that just draws you to it. And think about that and say, that's exactly what I want someone to say, is I know that personal brand of somebody. I know what are your unique strengths, your skills, what's going to set you apart, and making sure you highlight those all throughout the times that you are meeting with those in the industry. So it could be recruiters, it could be hiring managers, it could be just somebody that your family knows, but they work at a company that you're interested in. Make sure that you are sharing your personal brand with them, because that is how we really look to say, is this person going to be a really great fit for our organization? And it's based on those unique qualities. Also, again, what is going to make you stand out? Is it that you really enjoy volunteering? Is it that you like to develop things on your own? Maybe you've developed something very unique. Maybe you have started your own company on the side. Maybe you enjoy blogging. Whatever it is, what will say, gosh, that person goes above and beyond. They've been able to, maybe it's because you like to work and you work part-time, you go to school and you volunteer. Highlight that. That is who you are, and that is why you've been successful. Those are your passions. Also, what is the right career? The number one thing is that you should know at least a general idea. I like technology, or I like the finance industry, or I like the medical field. Do we need to know that you have that exact position and you know your career path for the next 10 years? Absolutely not. But the people that come up and they're like, I don't really know what I don't know what I want to do. That's hard for us, because we don't know if what we have to offer is going to be a good fit for you. So really trying to dive into at least an industry to see, where is it that I want to start my career and why? What is it about that career? What is it about the industry that's drawing you in? And then what do you want to be known for? The number one example I like to give is, my personal brand coming out of college was that I was a leader, and I really tried to showcase that. I was a leader in my projects. I was a leader in the clubs and organizations. I was a leader in my part-time work that I was doing, and I made sure that that trend I mentioned throughout all of my interviews or when I was meeting with someone is saying, you're going to receive a leader, and I'm here to lead, and this is how and why I have already proven to be able to do so. So that's your personal brand. Think of it. You want your personal brand to be that stamp where everyone knows it, and they always know that whatever they're going to give you, if it's a task, if it's a project, or if it's just confidential information, they know that it is safe with you, or that it's going to come out better than it was ever expected to be. So again, really creating that personal brand. Second, be able to speak to your resume. And you may think to that of, well, of course, I should be able to do that. But you can't imagine the amount of students that hand me a resume And then I start diving into it, and I'll say, okay, looks like you've done this at your internship. Tell me a little bit more. And they freeze, or they don't know how to explain it. Or I'll say, oh, looks like you've had this course. Tell me a little bit more about your project work that you've done, or what did you learn, or what did you really like about the class? And they can't talk to it. Most importantly, if it's on your resume, you should be able to speak to it. You should have examples, and you should really make sure that whatever is listed on your resume is adding value. What I like to say, I was a communication major, so I apologize. My third bullet here is very communication related, but eliminate the fluff. I heard that a lot, and I see it on resumes now is, you know, don't try and fill the page because you feel like you need to fill the page, or you need to say that you volunteered, but you may not have. You know, do not either put information that's not accurate, but also don't fill it with fluff. Make sure that it's all very substantial and that it is adding value to your personal brand, or it's adding value to the opportunity that you want to apply to or you hope to start your career in. This is very, very important because most importantly, if you can't speak it to me, do you think that you're going to be able to speak through your experience with the hiring manager, or when you get on site with and you're meeting with the team face-to-face? They are also looking for that same thing, is that you are able to explain your experience, explain your skills, explain your passions very well, because that is you. That's what you have done. And we really want to focus in on that, is being comfortable speaking to your resume, your experiences, your passions, your interests. Being prepared. So, you know, again, these are some that you're probably like, well, of course I'm going to be prepared. But I think a few of these are very interesting. The first is that there are so many times, and one of the most common mistakes in a survey, we get an annual survey that gives us a lot of different demographics about the students going into and joining the workforce because they're graduating. What were some of the most common mistakes made throughout the interview process? You know, just a variety of different things that they poll students for that are entering and graduating, but entering into the workforce. And the number one from this past year was that the number one mistake was that somebody had no knowledge of the company. They walked up to a career fair booth and they said, I don't know your company. You know, as you're standing in line, do just a quick search, and so that you have one or two key lines to talk to that recruiter. That may be a hiring manager standing there at the booth as well. You want to make a really great first impression, and that's being prepared. So having a little bit of information during the career fair is going to be essential. But then also, if you get invited to interview, make sure you do very in-depth research. We don't think that you need to be well-versed. That's okay. You don't need to be a subject matter expert. But we also want you to know, a little bit about our company, our culture, our people, a little bit about the product. Do a quick Google search and see what are some of the articles that come up about the company, because that will set you apart. That's a way that will set you apart, because if we get off the phone, or we, after shaking your hand and saying goodbye to you at the career fair, we're like, wow, that person was so prepared. And that is something that you can make an impact, and your first impression can be one to remember. Also, knowing the details about the role, knowing all different types of qualifications about the role that they're looking for, because that's also where you can highlight areas on your resume that you want to highlight because of the qualifications listed. And then also be prepared to answer some of the most popular questions. That's the first question I ask at a career fair. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So having that, what I like to say, a 5-second elevator pitch, a little bit about you, who you are, what's your major, what are you looking for, an internship or full-time, and why the company, or a little bit about your experience. But however you want to tailor that, but have a really great, succinct answer to tell me a little bit about you. What makes you you? Also, why did you leave your last company? So not always the question that you will get, say, if you're interning, but full-time, you will definitely get that. If you had an internship and you've been working as an intern for 3 years, but you're not looking to go to that company full-time, you'll get that question. Well, why are you looking to leave, or why are you looking to not go back to the company you've been interning with for 3 years? So always being able to speak to your experience, because we are looking, it may not have to be bad. We just want to see how you handle a question that sometimes is always thought of as negative. And we, again, want to see just how you can answer those and what is the reason behind it. Also, what do you know about our company? Or tell me a little bit about the knowledge you know about our company or our products, etc. why do you want to work for us? And again, this is where you can dive a little bit deeper than, well, I've heard you're a great place to work. Well, yes, we are, but there's a lot more to our company than that. So diving in to say, you know, I saw your key values. Those really relate to me. Or I saw a blog post on I Am All In by Thomas Stanley, who is one of our SVPs, and that really resonated with me. I want to be all in with you at NetApp as well. That says, wow, that person took a lot of time because they're very interested and they're very passionate about our company. And then tell me about your experience at a certain company, at a project, at school, et cetera. That's, again, relating it back to being able to speak to your experience and everything listed on your resume. All right, so this is one of my favorites, and it is so true, and I know people can attest to it at Virginia Tech as well, is that recruiters recognize your face. And what does that really mean is that I know those people that every year they come and see me when I'm at Virginia Tech. They will go and they will also attend every info session or tech talk. What that means is that they are very interested. They want to continue to show and build that relationship with me, with NetApp, because they're really interested. And you know what? I will go and I will fight for those people that have shown that interest to say, we've got to hire this person. We have to. This person's really engaged. They've come to all of our events. They ask great questions. They've got relevant experience. And again, that's something that will set you apart. It's your personal brand. You are consistent. You are very patient, but also that you're very professional because you are coming, shaking our hands, saying hello, handing in an updated resume. And it is so, so important because we do recognize your face and we start to build that relationship with you. And last but certainly not least is bring your energy. If that means going and grabbing, you know, a Coke or going and grabbing a coffee because you may be a little tired because you had an exam the next day or the following day, or maybe you've been studying, you know, bring that energy because we hear it, we feel it, and we really want to see your interest in our company and the passion that you have for yourself, for your work, for the education that you've received at Virginia Tech, but also that interest and passion and enthusiasm to join our company or join a specific team within our company. And I think, you know, Steve Jobs always says it best, and I think I'll leave you with this one line, is that your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and you want to make sure you're truly satisfied with what you do. So to do great work is to love what you do. So to have that passion and have that energy behind everything that you do, both right now, currently, as you're still at Virginia Tech, but also when you're getting ready to graduate and join the workforce. Bring the energy and bring the passion, and you're going to have a lot of people knocking on your door to say, I want to hire you. All right, well, thank you again so much. I know we only have just a few minutes for questions, but I have just absolutely loved speaking with each and every one of you, and I hope this has been a valuable 30 minutes for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We really appreciate all of that. I've actually gotten quite a few questions that have trickled in.
Sure.
I want to hopefully read all of these out. A few you kind of touched on, so I think maybe just reiterating it to make sure they get answered. But I'll start with the first ones that came in specifically about NetApp when you were presenting. This first one's a bit of a two-part question, but it states, are you more interested in students with a technology background or a sales background? And what kind of training do you have for students that may not understand the technical side of the business?
Absolutely. So it's a little bit, it's a great question, and I'll answer it in almost 2 or 3 parts. So for someone going into engineering, absolutely we're going to look for someone that has an engineering background. Someone that's going to go into the business, so if they're going to go into sales, they may go into finance, they may go into marketing. We are not looking for those that have a technology background. We are looking for those that will then join the business side because they understand the fundamentals of that particular role. They may have had, you know, some retail experience, or they may have had some customer service experience, and they want to go into sales. If it's in marketing, maybe they've done some advertising experience or social media experience. Finance, you know, again, maybe they've worked in an accounting firm, et cetera. So we're looking for the experience related to your field of interest. And then if technology is where you want to go, we provide you an immense amount of training. At times I look to my boss and I say, how much more can I learn? How much more can I put in my head? Because we give so many opportunities. So there is a true training path that you have for every role. regardless if you're on the business or if you're on sales or if you're in engineering, you're going to have a 30, 60, 90-day training plan. You're going to have a 6-month and a year-long training plan, and then you also have ongoing training as well throughout your entire career at NetApp. For sales specifically, though, it will be that you actually are very much trained on even the sales fundamentals and then the technology component of our products and solutions. So I hope I answered that, and I know that there was a second part, so if I didn't answer one of the second parts of that question, feel free to reiterate that.
Great, thank you. And then one of the questions is specifically talking about the internships that you mentioned. Are you still hiring for interns for this summer class?
We are. So we will be out in the spring. So we're going to be hosting a variety of events and attending the career fair, and then we'll be back out on campus even into the late March timeline. We'll be hosting a company day then as well. So we have plenty of internships still available in a variety of different functions. And again, most of our hiring we do in the spring, so it's the perfect time for internships to come and see us at the career fair. And we start the interview process in the spring, and we look to hire and extend offers to almost all of our interns by the end of March. And then that way we have April and the beginning of May to get you onboarded and ready to go. And then you typically start in that May to June timeline, just according to your academic schedule.
Perfect. And then also got a question, will NetApp be hosting the bus tours again this year with Pamplin?
Absolutely. So that is probably one of our most favorite events that we love. So as long as you guys are making your way to Research Triangle Park, we would love to be part of those. And if so, I know they could probably talk to you as well. But it's something we love to do and are always happy to participate in. So just please let us know. But we will definitely be attending and participating.
Great, thanks. And for those students that do not know what these bus tours are, this is something that we started maybe last year, within the next 2 years, that have become more of a regular thing. And it's where Pamplin Career Services will charter a bus, take a group of students, usually anywhere from 30 up to 50. We'll take you down to the Research Triangle Park area. You'll get to visit with a couple different companies. NetApp has always been one of them. They provide you with a lot of valuable information, campus tours, and much, much more. So it's a great opportunity for you students to kind of jump in, really get to see what it could be a day in the life of working at another location. So great. I have just a couple more questions that are a little bit more geared toward career fair prep, and I know you just touched on one, but will you be at Business Horizons this spring, and when are you interviewing?
Absolutely. So we will definitely be there. We are excited to be there and been counting down the days, actually, because it is just one of our favorite events. Because of this, there are so many students that really have enjoyed interning with us or coming and joining us as they start their career. So you'll be able to meet with our university relations team along with alumni, so stop by our booth. And then interviewing will take place primarily starting once we go to the career fair, usually a couple weeks after that, once we've gotten resumes back to our team and our interviewing teams have had some time to look through those. So typically I would say probably by the beginning of February is when we'll start the interviews, and then all through February and then all through March will be the honing in on the time to interview and extending offers during that time as well.
Great. And does NetApp do their first rounds on campus, or are those in-house?
So in the fall, we did some on-campus interviews. They were very successful. Unfortunately, due to our schedule this spring and us having to get to an event right afterwards, we will not be doing on-campus interviews this spring, but I will look to set up a large internship day, which would allow people to interview in a variety of different forums. So we may have that internship day back on campus at Virginia Tech, or we may host it virtually, or we may actually either fly or drive you down to the office and the facility in Research Triangle Park. So stay tuned for that. I'll make sure to share details with the Pamplin team so that they can then share them with the broader audience once we have the final details there.
Great. And one last question, and it's a good one. What is the best way to follow up with you after we've met at Business Horizons?
Absolutely. Great question, and I think it is something that every company is a little bit different. I say one of the key areas is to try and get the person's name that you spoke with. Connect with them on LinkedIn. If some people will give out their personal email addresses, I know, for instance, NetApp doesn't. We actually have a distribution list that we give to you, and that you can email, and then we are always monitoring it. But just based on the sheer volume that we get, we can't give out our personal email addresses. But I would say consistently across all the boards of all different companies is when you speak to somebody, get their name and try and connect with them on LinkedIn. Send them a message. Thanks for chatting with me at the career fair. I'd love to just stay in touch with you, so I would love to connect with you. Same thing goes through the interview process. I always recommend through the interview process after the career fair, anybody that you speak with during an interview, ask for their contact information and the best way to follow up with them. Some people are, still pretty old school and would love a phone call. So okay, they may not be the best on email, they may not, but they really would love to hear a voicemail. So, finding that out as well once you go through the interview process is what is the best way to follow up. You'll also learn a lot about that. So I would say, again, most importantly, LinkedIn, connect with them, send a personalized message, and then secondly, when you get a little bit deeper into the interview process, is to then ask them the best way to follow up and then do so at whatever cadence you feel is necessary.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. That is going to wrap up all the questions we have. So thank you to all of those listening live, and an extra special thank you to NetApp and Stephanie for presenting all this great information. As a reminder, this has been recorded, and this will be available for all to view starting Sunday of this week. And we will be sure to talk with Stephanie and get her schedule, so we'll advertise to you guys when they're going to be on campus next, but be sure to stop by and visit NetApp at Business Horizons next Wednesday. So again, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, NetApp. Thank you to the students tuning in. This is going to conclude our Pamplin Career Services Special Edition podcast for today.